Afreximbank backs acquisition of banks in Guinea and Burkina Faso. AFDB, IFED and others boost agriculture in Nigeria with $800 million. NNPC to deliver refined products from Port Harcourt refinery by September 2022 as oil prices fall Thursday after unexpected rise in U.S. crude oil stocks. These and more coming your way on Business Express today on the network service of the NTA. And we are reaching you from Abuja, the nation's capital. I'm Leah Kating. Baba today. As the financial markets in Nigeria resume from the public holidays, the Bank of Industry, BOI, Africa Development Bank, AFDB, International Fund for Agricultural Development, IFED, and Islamic Development Bank, ISB, have approved $800 million to reduce poverty and hunger and increase resilience to climate change in rural communities around Nigeria. The AFDB is pumping in $500 million to drive the Special Agro-Industrial Processing Zones SAPZ project aimed at raising the productivity and competitiveness of the country's agricultural sector. The technical advisor to the Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Richard Mark Mbaram, said IFED is also supporting with $250 million, while ISB is putting in $80 million. The project aims at boosting the rapid development of modern agro-processing capacity in the country. It's another Salah celebration where millions of animals, especially ram, goats, cow, and camel, are slaughtered for the celebration. The hides and skin business associated with the festival is at the peak across Nigeria. Musa Baba Aliu from Minna, Niger State capital, tells us more about the business of buying and selling of animal skin.
Reports indicate that 6 out of every 10 Muslim family slaughtered at least a ram or goat. The animals, especially rams, are skinned to prepare the meat for consumption. This, therefore, makes hides and skin business at its peak during this period. To this end, operators of tanning industry have dispatched middlemen to source and buy skin on their behalf.
Here in Minna, Niger State capital, a minimum price for the hides and skin is between 200 to 700 naira, but with the hope that the price at the company will go as higher as 7 to 1,000 naira.
I came across this group of middlemen in Boso local government area of Niger State. They told me they came all the way from Katsina State to buy and supply skin for a leather industry in Kano State. Our target is to buy 20,000 pieces of raw skin, but unfortunately, we may not get that quantity this year. As the skin is supplied, they are selected, graded, and treated with salt before transportation to Kano State. Abdullahi Nemina Sarkin Turki is the state chairman hides and skin merchants in Niger State. He decried the drop in the supply of the products this year.
Most of the people cannot be able to, they did not be able to meet up to buy the rams, purposely because of, you can see the food stock is, the life entirely becomes, some people that used to buy and share for others, they have not opportunity to do that. And some people that can be able to slaughter about 3 or 4 or 5, they end up of one.
Reports across major cities in the northern parts of the country indicate that the number of animals slaughtered last year was higher than this year. From Minna, Niger State capital, Musa Baba Aliu.
The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC) says that the Port Harcourt refinery, which is undergoing a $1.5 billion rehabilitation, will start delivering refined products by September 2022. The group general manager, Group Public Affairs Division (NNPC), Kenny Obatero, assured Nigerians that some part of the facility will deliver products in September 2022, adding that the entire rehabilitation program will be over in 44 months as the contractor had already mobilized the site. He said $1.5 billion rehabilitation of the Port Harcourt refining company has commenced in full, and part of the facility will start delivering refined products by September next year. Meanwhile, the Department of Petroleum Resources, DPR, says its attention has been drawn to the misinterpretation of the comments it made regarding subsidy removal. This follows an online publication stating that the price of PMS could rise up to 1,000 naira per litre upon the subsidy removal without alternative energy. The department, in a statement by Paul Osu, head public affairs of the DPR, states that the headline of the publication is misleading, as the comments of the director DPR were clearly taken out of context. The director specifically created a scenario of price instability of PMS based on current dollar to naira differentials, in the effect that if Nigeria continues to rely on the importation of PMS without creating alternative energy sources, then the products will be subject to prevailing market forces. The director further re-emphasized that the strategy for alternative energy source is a cardinal program of the government, which has led to the declaration of the Decade of Gas, with the objective to migrate the Nigerian economy to a gas-based economy by 2030. Now, some years ago, her mother was involved in an accident that confined her to a wheelchair for a while, and she had to devise a means to sustain the home and at the same time cater to the needs of the ailing mom. This birthed a revolution that will turn her life around, perhaps forever, leveraging on technology. That's the story of Ovaiza Yunusa on the true Nigerian spirit of excellence in the midst of challenges. Listen to our conversation. Circumstances either make or mar an individual. 27-year-old Ovaiza ventured into the business world when life happened to her, and with the support of her mother, tried her hands first on foods.
With food, you can't go wrong. So I started by selling food stuff to make sure I cater for them. She was on wheelchair for years. She was on wheelchair for years. She had an accident that affected her spinal cord. We are just two. So seeing all of that, I had to just buckle up and start hustling, sell pure water, sell food stuff and all. And then until she brought the idea of me buying red oil to stop.
She tells me that with a careful look at the society around her, she was able to diversify using the social media as a platform. The ICT sector became the driver of growth in 2020 that eventually saw to Nigeria's quick exit from recession, and in the first quarter of 2021 recorded a nominal growth of 12.25% year-on-year. Ovaiza is one of the many Nigerians who leveraged on the internet when the country went into total lockdown due to the coronavirus pandemic.
Facebook actually made me, because ordinarily, from outside, I am not this person that can go to people and tell them that this is what I want to do. Can you join? No. I decided to utilize my Facebook by growing my wall, building my wall. I built my wall. The moment I got the audience I needed, I began to push my business.
Latest statistics put Nigeria's unemployment numbers at 23.2 million. She says she's given back to the society by building skills at no cost, with a broader goal of reducing unemployment. The stock market in Nigeria has resumed this Thursday after 2 days of break. Today, we will be looking at the stock market performance this week, and our guest is Rotimi Fakayejo, an economy and capital market analyst. He joins us from Lagos. Hello, Mr. Fakayejo.
Good morning.
Good morning and nice to see you.
A pleasure.
Thank you. So the numbers have not been too good, and then we had 2 days of public holidays this week. What are the forces at play here?
The one thing I need to confess is that the market has been very resilient, in spite of the state of the economy and every other thing that ought to have dragged the market down. So we commend the market for the resilience and also for the hope that investors do have. We started the week with a marginal positive change of 0.01%, and we're looking forward that the remaining 2 days, that is today and tomorrow, will be much better than what we saw on Monday. But one major thing that is going to drive the market is the release of half-year results by most of the companies. So the market is earnestly waiting for the release of these results, and this definitely is what will drive the market as we go into the week. But I believe strongly that we're going to finish the week better than we started it.
Okay, so when do we start seeing these results, and particularly what are the stocks that are driving the market this week?
Well, I think the results ought to have been coming because the regulatory deadline for the release of the results is at the end of this month. So we're going to see the results coming in good number, either from today or tomorrow or early next week. But definitely we will have majority of them before the close of the month. And for the stocks to look at, I think the banking sector stocks are still the major drivers of the market. And maybe a look at ICT, that is the likes of NTA and also industrial goods. So those are the three major sectors that we actually drive the market this week. And we expect that in volume, in value, and also in positive change to the share index and the market capitalization. This definitely will give a lot of positive trends.
Okay, now earlier this week, information came out that Oando entered a settlement with the Securities and Exchange Commission. Did it have anything to do with the market? And with the settlement, do we expect some form of stability?
Yes, I think it's a positive news coming to the market because investors have really been denying a lot of benefits over time. They've not been able to hold AGM. Their results have not really been readily acceptable to the market and to the regulators. And then now that this settlement is coming up, we are likely to see them holding their AGM and also making a rendition of their auditor reports to the market. So investors are definitely going to benefit because if there is any way that they're going to push forward additional benefits to the investors, then they have the opportunity now. And with this kind of settlement and resolution, I believe that the market is really, really pushing forward, and we need to commend the regulator, the Securities and Exchange Commission, and the Nigerian Exchange Group for taking this step, at least for the forbearance and also accepting this kind of settlement. So definitely, quoted companies are going to be more open in their disposition to the regulators, and I think it's going to be a working relationship that will benefit everyone and all the investors in the market.
Okay, so when we see this sort of this agreements between regulators and quoted companies, like in the case of Oando that lasted quite a very long time, what are the implications and how do we avert this sort of scenario?
Well, the implications, we've seen the price of Oando stock nosediving from 18 naira to as low as 2 naira 80 kobo at a time. But right now it's trending at about 3 naira. So investors have lost value, although it is only those that are sold that have actually lost money. So there's still hope for those who are holding on to their positions for a better trend in the future. But to mitigate or avert this kind of situation, I think the regulators need to step up their games. They shouldn't wait for when problems will arise within a company before they can actually do what they are supposed to do. So if they step up their game, their regulatory function, their oversight, then definitely we won't see this kind of situation again. So regularly, they should check the results. It's not just about rendition of quarterly, half-year of auditor reports that matter, but they should actually go to the nitty-gritty of the results and question certain things so that investors will not be shortchanged over time. And I believe if they do step up their game with respect to this, I believe a lot of things is going to really turn out to give the market a better perception by investors. And I think they need to engage more professionals who can actually look into the figures, into the accounts, of the quoted companies so that they can point out whatever needs to be done and whatever needs to be advised over time and regularly so that we can see a dramatic change in the way investors perceive the market. And also when the quoted companies know that the regulators are up in their game at this point in time, they will not bring figures and they will think twice before they actually churn out figures to the market. And I think this will be a win-win situation for everyone, the regulators, the quoted investors, and also the operators, and also for the economy of Nigeria.
Okay, so what do you expect the market to look like this week? It's a short trading week, just 3 days. Already the first day is on a marginal note.
Yes, I think, like I said earlier, one thing that will drive the market is if the market receives a good result from one of the major hotel companies today, I think it will brighten the market and also spur the interest of investors to put more into the market. Because the more investors reach out to the market, put more money, take more positions, that's when we see price appreciating. And at the same time too, if there is anything that will, it is because investors are not happy with what they are seeing and they are pouring more, releasing more of their stocks for sale in the market. So I believe that the remaining 2 days of the week, it should actually portend a good trend for the market and everyone should be at ease, because what we have seen in the first quarter of the result released, the figures are quite encouraging. And I believe that those figures are going to be consolidated even as we see the half-year reports.
Okay, so before I let you go, what is the class of investors the market is attracting? Are they mostly foreign or mostly local?
Well, I think the participation of the foreign portfolio investors at this time is ridiculously low. From what we see from the reports of the Nigerian Exchange Group for the foreign portfolio investment, we are seeing a figure as low as 20% foreign portfolio investors participation. So the people who are actually driving the market right now are the local investors, and majorly the institutional investors are the ones that are actually pushing the market. So I believe we let the local investors put more into the market and let there be an encouragement for the foreign portfolio investors so that we can have a more varied market.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Rotimi, for being a part of the program this morning. Mr. Fakai Jemok joined us from Lagos.
A pleasure.
Thank you. Have a nice one. Outside the country, stock markets are still picking up from losses recorded at the beginning of the week. Buster Abel has global market updates.
European stocks were higher on Thursday, reflecting positive global momentum after a drought start to the trading week. The positive start for Europe's markets came amid fears for more buoyant sentiment than was seen at the start of the week, when there was a rout in global markets amid fears over rising COVID cases and global growth. DAX and CAC 40 were unchanged, while FTSE was 1.7% high. Shares in Asia Pacific were higher on Thursday, with markets in Japan closed for a holiday. Hong Kong Hang Seng Index was among the biggest gainers regionally, rising about 1.62% as of its final hour of trading. Mainland Chinese stocks closed higher, with the Shanghai Composite climbing 0.34% to 3,574.82, and Nikkei also rose 0.58%. U.S. stock index futures were little changed in early morning trading on Thursday, after the major averages advanced during regular trading to turn positive for the week. Futures contracts tied to the Dow Jones Industrial Average gained 31 points. S&P 500 futures and Nasdaq 100 futures were both marginally higher. While some African markets are yet to open, others are still closed for the public holidays. Boss Day Able, Business Express.
Thank you, Boss Day. And of course, we've had people on this program over 1 year share their experiences and how the coronavirus pandemic has been affecting their businesses, their lives, and the solutions that lie therein in the midst of the pandemic. And surviving COVID-19 is next with Salamatu Suleiman, all the way from Niger State.
Surviving COVID-19 series is brought to you in partnership with the Central Bank of Nigeria. My name is Salamut Masoud Suleiman. I benefit from the TCN COVID loan. I run a poultry, precisely layers that produce egg. I'm located in Minna, Niger State, along Brighter. I heard about it from my family member. He said, since I have interest in establishing my farm, I should apply for the loan. Then I was able to apply and I was called for interview. The COVID-19 pandemic has affected the business in so many ways. Yeah, it has helped the household in so many ways because it has kept me busy going up and down, and it has improved it has created a room for expansion of the business, and it has generated another source of income to me as a person and to the household generally. You know, some people think it's a fraud or it's not real, and other things is another way of scamming them. So it's something that is real, is genuine, and once you apply, it's something you get. Once they know that you are deep faith to get it, it's something they give to assist the masses. Thank you, the CBN governor, then the President of Federal Republic of Nigeria. We are very, very grateful.
Surviving COVID-19 series is brought to you in partnership with the Central Bank of Nigeria.
Of course, the smiles of gratitude are right there. Now, the Africa Export-Import Bank, Afreximbank, has closed a 59.2 million euros intra-Africa investment finance facility to finance Vista Group Holdings SA's acquisition of major stakes in BCG and BACAP, two banks which operate in Guinea and Burkina Faso. The two banks are being acquired from BNP Paribas, who is exiting these markets for operational reasons. The shift to African control on the Vista will unlock a major evolution in the services offered by both banks, including agency banking outlets, affordable mobile banking solutions, and increased availability of microfinance. Professor Benedict Orama, president of Afreximbank, said enhancing the offering from the two banks, Vista will create opportunities for both direct and indirect employment in Burkina Faso and Guinea. Oil prices fell on Thursday after an unexpected rise in U.S. crude oil inventories and as rising COVID-19 infections threatened demand, but prices held on the most of their gains from the previous session on expectations that supplies will remain tight. Let's see prices of oil and other commodities on the global market. At the parallel market, the Naira remained stable at 505 to a dollar, same as it has been since Friday last week. That brings us to the end of this edition of Business Express. Remember to keep in touch with us by sending in your comments, observations, and suggestions. Also be informed that all previous episodes are available on YouTube on the NTA's channel. Join us again Friday at 3 p.m. for another episode. I'm Leah Katun. Bye-bye today. Be safe out there.